Hi, I'm Sean Carruthers, and welcome to How Do I on Butterscotch.com. In this series, we're taking a look at digital SLR lenses and how to use them. In this episode specifically, we're taking a look at the macro lens. Now, the macro lens allows you to get really close up to your subject. Now, this is different from telephoto lenses, which we talked about earlier, which allow you to get close up when you can't get in close enough to the subject, like at a sporting event or shooting wildlife. This one allows you to get right on top of an item and shoot it from a very close distance. Now, for example, we have our little fellow right here, and we want to take a picture of him, and we can get a really close-up shot by zooming in and taking a picture like so. Now, this allows you to get very close-up shots of things that are quite small. For example, like this dragonfly. Getting a shot like this from a fair distance away with a telephoto lens, not quite as easy, but using a macro lens, you actually can start to see a lot of the parts of his eye, hairs on his back, that sort of thing. So there's a couple of pros and cons to the macro lens. The pro is that you can get right up close on top of something and get to see a lot of detail that you normally wouldn't get to see. Downside is if you get too close, lighting becomes an issue. So there's a few different types of macro lenses in different focal lengths, say 30, 50, 70, 100. I've got 100 on here, but you can get them down to 30, which would be a much smaller lens. Now, when you have a much smaller focal length, you potentially have a problem with light. With 100 millimeter, you actually can shoot the same amount from a further distance. But with, say, a 30 millimeter, you would actually be right on top of an item like this. And the issue then is the amount of light that comes in. So you may have not enough light hitting the front of the image because your lens is now in the way. Or even worse, you might actually cast a shadow across the image in question. So you might want to look at something that's a little bit longer. So with 100, you can actually shoot the same shot from a little bit further away, and the natural light can actually hit it. The other issue with this is depth of field. Now, depth of field indicates how much of the image is in focus and what's out of focus on either side. Now, with regular photography, that might not be such an issue. When you're taking a picture of someone from a fair distance away, for example, her entire face might be in focus, and the things behind her will be out of focus. With macro photography, that distance between items that are in focus and out of focus becomes really narrow. It may be only a few millimeters. So for example, if we look again at the photograph of the dragonfly, you can see some of the eye parts are in focus, but the other part of his head is out of focus now. Anyhow, that's a look at the macro lens. Don't forget to take a look at the other parts in our series where we take a look at other types of lenses and how they're used.